Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff. Hey guys, welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Maureen.
I'm Jeanette.
And I'm Amanda.
And we are back with another Cruel Summer episode. We've got another episode. We have more theories. Some theories have changed. Some have evolved. Some have stayed the same. But we are going over episode 3, which is called Bloody Knuckles. And I felt like that was important to say.
Yeah.
Because that's interesting. Did you guys get that correlation?
No, I don't. I was going to say that too. I don't know why it was called that. I kept waiting for a reason. Why? What happened?
They were playing Bloody Knuckles in the cabin. The boys were.
Oh, I totally didn't pay attention to that.
I didn't realize that's what they were playing.
Yeah, they were playing Bloody Knuckles in there.
Okay.
When the girls were looking in the window.
The girls left.
Okay, so that has to have significance somehow.
Yeah, they were playing Bloody Knuckles.
Maybe
that was the blood.
If that is the title of the episode, and that's the only way that they're tying it in, that has significance.
Is that the blood? Because they were playing inside.
No, because that would have been, she wouldn't have gone in there to clean it up then, because that was summer of 99. And she was just
trying to make it seem like they weren't there. No, because they knew they were there.
Yeah.
At that time. I don't know.
But yeah, it's probably means something. But see, that's the thing with these Cruel Summer episodes. I feel like everything means something.
It does.
And last season, some of that was true, some of it wasn't. But I think it's fun, because you don't know what is going to be significant and what's not. Because some of the really small stuff is. So,
but I think if they're naming the episode after something they're doing in the episode, that should have more. Like the green ring pop obviously didn't mean anything because from last season.
We thought for sure it did.
Yeah. But Bloody Knuckles, if it's the title of the episode and they're playing that has to play in somehow. So I think it has to do with those boys are the problem here more than Isabella. Because I kind of changed my tune on Isabella a little bit this week.
A little bit. I agree with a little bit. Yeah. I agree.
I don't know.
So in summer of 99, they gave us a lot from this summer in this episode. Like a lot. And it did start to answer some of our questions. And I like how we found the origin story of Megan and Isabella, because I think a lot of us were looking at Isabella as a villain because we couldn't connect the dot on how they became friends when she clearly was with Luke, and then later on Megan was with Luke. That was like my big thing of how does this work? So I like that we got to see that, but there's still a lot of confusing things.
Yeah,
about their relationship.
I'm still not ruling her out as the villain. Okay, no. Like I'm not as set on that now, but like I still think there's definitely. She has villainess qualities, if that's like even a word. I don't know. But I mean, just seeing like the more I thought about this episode, like how we just got to see little pieces of them like becoming friends, it hit me. You know what? When you're 16, 17, it kind of is that easy to really become best friends. And I didn't think about it. I think I was thinking about it as like an adult about how there's no way you could do that. But like as a kid, I feel like you definitely could like just become best friends right away. I don't know.
I think for me, the weird part was the Luke thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got little pieces of like, I'm not sure that like Megan even understood that she had a thing for Luke back then, because like we talked about here, how like she's kind of one of the guys until like this particular like trip where like, and even Isabella tells her like, you may have been one of the guys, but you are not one of the guys anymore. So I don't know. I think that changes things for sure.
Yeah. And I do have a question. Was Jeff always Jeff? Because I feel like we called him Freddie all of last episode.
Freddie's a different guy.
And Freddie's a different guy?
Yes.
I thought Freddie was the guy with the camera.
No, Freddie is the guy. He's like the one that made the gross comment to Isabella the first time.
I thought that was the guy with the camera.
No.
Because I called him
one of them's the guy from
episode.
Outer Banks, right? And one
of them is from Outer Banks.
No.
No, Kelsey's not in there.
No,
you're thinking of Will Trent. Kelsey's on Will Trent.
I am thinking about Will Trent.
That's
I'm sorry. I was watching it today.
You're fine. No worries. But no, Freddie's a different guy. Freddie is like one of like the punks or whatever. Jeff is one of the guys that we liked, at least until this episode. Now I'm not so sure about Jeff.
No, he was the one I had a
Okay.
problem with. I just kept calling him Freddie, but he was the one I kept calling out because he was the one with the video camera in his hand. We kept saying that we think maybe Isabella paid him to film it or something creepy about him or the way he was using the camera.
Did you call him Freddie? I knew his name was Jeff. Maybe I just didn't notice.
Pretty sure I called him Freddie all last episode.
Right. Jeff has the camera. Freddie is the one that hangs out with the guy with the brown hair that's like white and skinny.
Yes.
It's kind of bad news. Okay. Now I know him apart.
Yeah. I don't know all of the friends' names yet. I just know Freddie, and then there's Brent is older. I don't know the girls' names, the other two girls that are like part of the group. Like I know Parker, Brent's girlfriend. Are the only
ones I know.
But I don't know. There's other guys too. I can't remember if I even wrote any of them down.
But Freddie is or not Freddie. See, I'm doing it again. Jeff is the one who I have been suspicious of because in the first episode, there was that scene where he walked away from the look is explained now when he walks away from Luke and Megan and Isabella at the Christmas party in 99 because they focus on his face being sad. But I thought maybe he was the one who was behind the video, at least incidentally, because he was the one who had the video camera in his hand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was not suspecting of him at all last episode. This episode, I don't know because I still don't, my gut says no, he didn't have anything to do with that. And I know like Freddie was one of the guys that someone made the joke about the two guys that were going to be sleeping on the floor. One of those was Freddie and someone else that I don't know his name. And that is, I wrote this down because I was like, it just seemed like some significance, whether it's just like a red herring or whatever. But Jeff made the comment, I'll film it for you because I talked about they could consummate their love or whatever. And he said, I'll film it for you and you can keep it as a keepsake. And I was like, why do we say that? Because that just like, I don't know. Like, I still don't, my gut still says like Jeff didn't have anything to do with that. But I thought that was an interesting like comment.
He's got something to do with something.
Yeah. No, I agree. The other interesting thing for me at the cabin was when Brent and Parker show up. And obviously Parker doesn't want to be there at all. And Brent's like, oh, we're not staying long, whatever. He clearly ends up staying most of the day.
Yep.
And it was his interaction with Megan that I thought was really interesting. And I think it plays into kind of what we were saying last week, that Brent probably wasn't always a jerk. It probably came about when his mom died that things changed for him. And I like that because we know I love character development. So I would love to be able to see that progress as the season goes on to where we end up maybe not loving Brent, but Brent. And, but thinking he's one of the good guys, because my gut is telling me that he is one of the good guys. And it was last week even. He's kind of a creep in that but like, I don't think he's one of the bad. I think he's just a dumb kid who was filming his conquest. I mean, like, which obviously isn't okay, but I mean, I think it's not as evil as they're wanting to make it look like, I think, I'm
wondering now, when Luke told Megan about Brent being the one with all the videotapes, she didn't seem that surprised in episode 1 or 2.
That's
and in
true.
This episode, we see that Freddie says he likes to be behind the camera because people forget you're there and you can see a lot more. And in the winter, she says, I know how you make your money to buy your video equipment. And he says, you swore you'd never tell. So what if Brent pays him to set things up or to do something like that?
Yeah.
I didn't think about that, but that's a good theory.
Because he's involved some way. And I don't think it's nefariously.
Yeah.
I can't use that word without thinking about your podcast.
I know.
By the way, check out A Nefarious Nightmare on anywhere you listen to podcasts.
There's a plug, right? Yeah.
But I think that he has something to do with the seedy underbelly of their friend group. Because I think he needs money. I think he wants equipment. I think he wants to go places outside of this little town. We see Megan talking about how much she wants to get out of this town. I think Freddie wants the same thing.
Yeah.
And so I think he's willing to do more to get what he wants. And there's also the thing he said, what did he say? He said something when he was talking to her when she took the camera. Oh, he's like, she said, what have you seen? And he said, never let somebody else take my video. Never let a cute girl take my video camera. But the way he said it was.
He definitely came across a little more creepy this episode. But I mean, obviously we found out too that they've dated. Like they're going to start dating soon. which definitely gives him more motive for being involved if we decide to go that route, that he's, involved in this somehow, because he's probably going to, I mean, he's clearly like he's scorned by all of this. I mean, he's clearly really upset by whatever happens, that they break up and how that works out, which I'm really looking forward to that. Like, how do Luke and Isabella break up, and then Megan and Freddie break up? Is it that Megan starts dating Freddie and Luke realizes that he's into her? Like, I want to know how all of that plays out to make, I don't know.
Yeah, because Freddie says you chose the wrong guy. So it came down to, are you going to stay with me or are you going to be with Luke?
Yeah.
I do think, though, that the line about diplomatic immunity, I think that was a bit of a red herring. I think they were like, let's throw this out there so you can think she's worse than she is. I think that was a complete misnomer. I'm not sure if Jeff is responsible for the filming of Luke and Megan, unless Brent paid him to go do it. Now I'm thinking.
No, what I'm saying is, do you guys think he filmed maybe the possible Luke's death and Isabella's family paid him off because he needed the money?
I think whether he filmed it or not, I think we are definitely I think he knows stuff about, because I mean, obviously when they threatened him about all of that,
that's in winter of 99, though.
Yeah, that's in winter of 99. So I think that's going to somehow come into play, that I think he is going to know something about Luke's death.
We've seen him in summer of 2000 yet, have we?
I don't know. We haven't seen really anyone in summer of 2000.
We've seen Parker, Brent. We still haven't seen Luke's body. The parents, Isabella and Megan. We haven't really seen anybody else.
I'm going to, real quick, I know we're just mentioning Luke's body. Okay, this is something that's been bothering me. Supposedly he died 6 months before they find his body. He's been in the water. There's no way his dad would be able to recognize him. He would be so waterlogged and
it wouldn't be recognizable.
We talked about that last week, and I think that I think either Steve Chambers is faking his son's death to get money, maybe for whatever, because he's running out of money. He's in a bad way. Or we talked about the idea that maybe Luke didn't die 6 months ago. Maybe Luke was trying to run away, and maybe he was found, because we talked about, how every time his dad talks to him, he wants to put a gun in his mouth about his future. So maybe he didn't die 6 months ago. Maybe he was hiding out at the cabin.
Yeah.
And that's why the story of him, that's why Megan is never seen dropping him off, because she never did. She knows that she left him at the cabin. No one's been there in months. He went missing. It is what it is. He got shot or somehow died sometime after that, and then he fell into the water. So it could be that he was only in the water for 2 weeks. Maybe he was hiding out for all that time.
Yeah. But our sheriff just seems like a smart guy. And so for him to not be asking these same questions that we're asking is bothering me at the moment.
I think he will.
And maybe we're going to get there. Yeah, maybe we're going to get there.
I think he's trying to rattle their cages first.
We don't know everything yet, so I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be obviously the medical examiner, that town is so small, probably knows Luke.
True.
So, and then they're going to, they can't just, if the body's unrecognizable, they're not just going to take his dad's word.
Right.
Although we've seen the dad push around the head of authority in that town with threats.
Can he now? He's lost a lot of his power.
That's true. That's true.
We're assuming he did. Yeah, I'm just assuming that because he said you have no idea what you've just done to this family or what you've cost this family. That's the only reason I'm assuming he lost a lot of his power. We don't know if he did or not.
Yeah,
that's true.
Because I think he still owns over half the town.
Yeah, because they're still in the same house, right? Are they? Do we know?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Are they? Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Trying to think of other. It was so much of the summer.
It was so much in the summer. And there's one other thing that really stood out to me. And again, I think they threw lots of red herrings at us, and whether any of them are going to pan out or not. But Megan, obviously a really great shot when they were shooting the gun. Isabella was terrible. But my first thought was, is she actually terrible? Because she strikes me as the kind of girl who would pretend to be terrible so that Luke could have to show her how to do it.
Yeah, I had the same thought.
I wonder if that's just, and that also makes it look like, well, she couldn't have done this. Or actually, though, it also gives you the thought that it grazed his ear, correct? or whatever, like it grazed.
I
So-
thought it said knee.
I thought it did too, if I'm being honest. But then I think in this episode they said ear, correct?
They said ear. They said
But
it was like up.
I actually had knee in my head last week. So I don't know
Yes.
if that's because of you or because that's what I heard. I'm
Well,
not sure.
I think we started talking about where he was grazed when we listened to that other TikTok where she was talking about how
maybe
he was running.
Okay, well, it's her fault then, right? No, I don't know.
We'll say that.
Yeah, it's her, not us. Obviously, we don't make mistakes.
Oh, Megan.
We're kidding. We love Megan. But like in this case, so obviously whoever took the shot at him missed. So
Mhm.
maybe it is that Isabella's a bad shot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just felt like that. I felt like their target practice was of some kind of significance.
Yeah.
More than just to show why their prints were on the gun. I feel like there was more to it than that. So I
It
don't
may
know.
not be what we're thinking though, because who had the gun
might
before the
not.
girls had it?
Well, here's my issue. Why, if it's registered to Steve, even if he never used it, whatever, are his prints not on it? Like, he would
Apparently
have had
not.
to have touched it at some point. Did he wipe it down? Like, why would that just seemed weird to me that his prints were not on it as well?
See, this is where I think that Steve could have been responsible, but not for Luke's death. I think that if the body was unrecognizable, he could jump in there and say, "That's my son. His prints are not on the gun." He could get someone else to be held accountable for this crime, and he could get money from somehow.
Maybe like a life insurance or something.
And I think that Megan and Isabella think that they had something to do with the blood or whatever, but it wasn't what, because they think that's what killed him.
Yeah.
Because we said that Megan went to go clean the blood before the body was found. So maybe they think the shot is what killed him when it didn't kill him.
Maybe.
And so she went back to clean it up because it was an accident, but she wanted to make sure she wasn't. And I imagine that that's the only reason his prints wouldn't be on it, is if he himself wiped down the gun.
But then why
the
are
girls
their
clearly
prints
didn't
still
do
there?
it.
Yeah.
Because I think they handled the gun after that. Like they were trying to hide it.
Okay.
But Luke's was on
But
there
Luke's
too,
were
right?
still on there. Yeah, Luke's were still on there too. I don't know. That just stood out to me. Like, why are Steve's, like, if he at least he's touched it when he bought the gun, if it's registered to him.
Absolutely.
Like, so I don't know, it's just weird.
And who was the one who was shooting the gun before them? It wasn't the same gun, but who was shooting the gun before them?
One of the boys, I
Was
don't
it-
know their name, I think.
Was it Fred?
It might be Freddie. It was one of the boys, I don't know the
I
name. 'cause
meant
there's-
Jeff. Dang it.
No, I don't think it was
Ah.
Jeff. I don't remember seeing Jeff shoot a gun. But I could be wrong. I didn't pay
Well, no, because he came up with the ski mask. So
Yeah.
clearly he likes this. Obviously, there's a scary story aspect between him and Megan that they made certain to point out to us.
Yeah.
I did love that her favorite movie was Halloween. So she's got really good taste in scary movies. Just saying.
And there was also significance in that Jack can dislocate his shoulder. Now,
Yes.
Isabella doesn't actually sleepwalk.
No.
Okay.
No.
Your thing confused me. 'Cause I was like, I thought they confirmed
No.
that she helped her out with it.
But that's what she said was her like lie.
Mm-hmm.
Or she was
No,
saying
she
something,
said that was her truth.
she was saying, yeah, that was one of her truths.
Mm-hmm.
When I think that was her lie. So which one was her like?
That she saw NSYNC in Barcelona.
And what was the other one?
That she met somebody else in another country.
So one of those had, unless she just told all, like, there was something weird. And I'm like, why did you have to get that backed up? I don't know. It just felt weird.
Yeah.
It did. So I
It
think
did
there was
feel
some
really
significance
awkward.
to it. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
it's how swiftly and smoothly she can lie and get other, because Megan and her were not friends
No.
at all.
No.
But all of a sudden, she can say one thing and look at Megan a certain way, and Megan's like, "Yep, I back you up 100%."
Yeah.
And then they're friends all of a sudden.
Mhm.
So I think that might be what they were getting to. Was
Yeah,
Isabella's ability to maneuver into people's lives and
Mhm.
manipulate them to get the outcome she wants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I mean, that might play into, like, obviously she can lie and not have any idea. Like her little comment about Lisa and I spent a whole storm in the ocean. This Lisa thing is really creepy.
It's
in my
weird.
opinion.
It's
Yeah.
real weird.
I need a lot more information.
I need to speak to Lisa, if I'm being honest. Like,
Let's see if we can speak to Lisa.
is
Maybe
Lisa
Isabella
around?
is Lisa.
That's what I was going to say. I
Ooh.
mean,
Maybe she's still her identity.
Or maybe she's crazy and has another personality is what I'm thinking.
Or what I was going with it is maybe she is actually Lisa, but she killed the diplomat's daughter, or she killed this other girl to take her identity. And that's why they moved her out, because anyone who's there would be able to confirm this isn't her. So maybe Isabella actually, or maybe Lisa actually killed Isabella some way. And Lisa was the diplomat's daughter, and they moved her out to take over Isabella's identity.
Maybe.
I don't know.
There's definitely something with her. I mean, obviously her parents, she doesn't have a relationship with them. They just want to pay off any problems that arise.
Well, does that woman call her Isabella? Does she call her by her name ever? Because they go to a great length to make Isabella say her name.
Rebecca, yeah.
But I don't think Rebecca ever says Isabella's name to her.
Maybe not.
I have to go back and watch again.
So what if Lisa is actually the diplomat's daughter? And that's who that is. I can't make this make sense in my head right now, but I know that there's a strand of something.
Well, that's why I'm almost wondering, could it be like, I don't know. I feel like last season we went to the multiple personalities route too, didn't we? No, we did that with Martin. I feel like we did because it's just an easy out.
But we also, are we sure that her parents are truly diplomats, or are they just rich? Because Rebecca didn't say anything about diplomats. It's always been Isabella who says it. Isabella didn't say anything about their, oh no, she did say, can't we claim diplomatic immunity and leave? And she said that would cause a problem because of what happened in
That's true. In
98.
Yeah. What happened in St. Bart's, by the way? Because
there's something there. I've got to manifest that theory and
we'll think about that one. And like we met Megan's dad, which is another interesting. Like we didn't really meet him. We saw him from a distance. Which is interesting that Debbie's obviously with him here, back in her old, probably toxic ways of being with him like over and over again. But then by winter of 99, she's all buttoned up and whatever as Steve's girlfriend. So
I was wondering when that started. So I'm guessing it still has to be fairly new in the winter.
I guess. They don't seem new to me though in winter.
I know.
I wonder if, because they made a point to, I mean, her reaction, if that's all it was with her dad, that was a huge overreaction. Like, I get your dad left, you don't like him.
Yeah.
But the way she acted was like he's on the verge of murdering her entire family. Especially in 2000, when she's like, you said we never have to take anything from him. I wonder if the dad is because I think there's a potential for several people to be wicked in this, to have several different purposes, because that makes it harder to come to one theory.
Yeah.
If there's several things. What if the dad is saying, convince Debbie to go with a Steve guy to get money?
That's a good idea.
I mean, it's the end of summer 99, isn't it? It's July.
No, it's
July.
And they do seem very, very cozy by winter.
Yeah, like more than
that long.
It's only 6 months. It's exactly 6 months apart these days these dates. Yeah.
So for them to be that close, they would have had been dating for like 4 months after that makeout session. And I doubt that makeout session is the end of it.
Yeah. Actually, not even. It's less than 6 months, isn't it? Because what, July, August, September. 5 months. They're 5 months.
Yeah, so that'd be like 2 or 3 months after what they've been dating.
Yeah.
So I don't know, something is fishy there with the dad, because they make a point to bring that out in 2000 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they also make the point that like Debbie always sees the best in people. They say that too. So maybe she's way too trusting of Keith and like what he's, I don't know. Want to see more of the dad because I'm curious about that. And
I think we're going to, since and how can he pay for this lawyer if he's that horrible of a person and always like, how can he pay for this lawyer? How?
And why are
isn't he a musician?
Yeah, but I don't think the way they made it sound, he wasn't a popular musician.
Yeah.
He was like one who has traveled small bar gigs, and that was my impression. I mean, they didn't say that, but I didn't think he made a lot of money as a musician. Certainly not enough for a very expensive lawyer.
Unless he's just gotten the money, because back in like the year before, I mean, obviously they've got bills stacking up with past due sitting there. But then also, I mean, in 2000, you've got your younger child borrowing $10 from your older child. So obviously, like, if you like made tons of money, why are they still having to live in that sort of environment?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and we also see something we didn't talk about last week, but Megan has some like coding side gig that's very nefarious as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's making a bunch of money somewhere else by screwing somebody else over.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I
we
mean,
don't know what's going to come out from.
there's so many different strands to pull.
So much. Yeah.
And we were right that Isabella did tell Debbie that it was her on the tape. And we were right on about that too, because she said, but I worry about how much you're leaning on Luke. Okay. Now here was my theory about that. I had to write it down because I knew that I would forget. So let me get down to it. But they made a point for her to say, would you even do it if it was me? And then when Isabella and Megan Park, she said, I would do it for you, by the way.
Yeah.
Did Megan do it for her and cover up what Isabella did? And then this is why they no longer speak, because she had to do the unthinkable in the name of ride or die. And now she's like, I'm done with you.
Possibly. Because they were real.
It could be.
Yeah, it was real, like, I don't know. I mean, sincere. I mean, they made sure to point out that, like, how sincere Megan was in that, like, moment. So I think so.
And on top of that, because we see that if Megan does, or if Isabella doesn't get what she wants, she's going to go rat Megan out for anything. So maybe that's why Megan is cleaning up the blood that Isabella caused in the cabin, because Megan or Isabella has something on Megan, which could be just as simple as the sex tape was Megan, because even Megan said, or Isabella said to Rebecca, but knowing it's her on the sex tape is worse for her than it is for me, right?
Yeah. I'm processing. Sometimes, like, when you say something, I just have to, like, process all the thoughts, because I'm like,
I also talk an awful lot, so.
Well, I mean, so do I. Another, like, something else that happened, I wanted to point, like, we saw, like, in last episode, we saw the sheriff kind of being, like, I mean, we knew he was close to Luke because he was doing that little ride along and whatever. In this episode, he, like, is checking on him again. He's talking about, like, you're a good kid who just made a mistake. And even Brent calls him his sheriff daddy at some point. So, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like why is he so close to the sheriff?
Because he wants to be a police officer. Like, that's what he wants to go to school for. So he's been studying under the sheriff as almost like an intern. But I think he relies on the sheriff more because Steve Chambers pours more into Brent, because he thought he's the solid one. He's the one who's going to, and how disturbing was Steve Chambers in this episode when he called out Brett, like,
yeah, I felt bad for it. And see, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to end up feeling sorry for Brent. I'm going to need him to, like, be redeemed, because I was just like, oh my gosh, he got, like, aggressive, like, real quick.
I thought he deserved that.
Yeah. No, I mean, we saw
I don't know,
different,
like,
side of Steve this episode, which I think was important for us to see.
Yes.
For some, I don't know what reason yet, but I think it was important for us to see that side of him now.
Yeah, because I'm not sure that, like, I'm not condoning anything that Brent's been doing at all, but it is clear by what Megan was saying that this kid changed with his trauma with his mother. We know how I feel about a broken man, and so, like, I'm trying to make excuses for him over here. But, like, I mean, seriously, and the fact that, like, Steve Chambers, we see, which we had an idea that he kind of only cares about image, but I think it was clear this episode that he literally cares about nothing else than his image, which is crazy to think about. Like, was he always like that, or did he change after his wife died too? Like, I wonder if there was a shift in that as well. No. What did she die
she was
of?
sick.
Yeah, I thought she had, like, cancer or something.
I don't remember. I'm just trying to find it, because I feel like I'm going to end up hating Steve. So I want to start hating him now if I'm going to hate him, because I kind of like him now, and I don't want to, like, I just want to hate him if I need to hate him.
My gut says don't hate him, and I usually try to stick with my guts. Like, I don't think he's a good guy necessarily, but my wonder is, like, did he experience the trauma of his wife dying too, and just kind of shut himself off from, like, I don't know. You know me, I like to make excuses for people, so.
I'm still on the Steve had something to do with either Luke's death or hiding Luke's death, because, he shows up to, what's the mom's name? Debbie. He shows up to Debbie's house with a casserole, right? They have a little cute conversation there. And then he very casually and calmly says, I know that Megan and Isabella, the sheriff told me something about Megan and Isabella. She's like, no, they wouldn't do it. I know. But then the preview for next week shows that he very clearly wants to pin it on Isabella and Megan.
Yep.
He knew that information very, very fast. And we haven't seen a body, and he is the only one who ID'd the body.
But as far as that goes for next week, like in this episode, he was saying no, we didn't blame them because of like the prints on the gun. But then he also made the comment that the cabin was cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
And that him and Brent had not been there. So what if he then finds out that it was them that went and cleaned the cabin? Like then they would look more suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just for benefit of the doubt, like that might be why his opinion changes.
I think he had something.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't think there's something with him, because I definitely do. I just don't know what.
I don't think he had anything to do with it. I think if anything, Brent had something to do with it, and Steve's gonna cover that up for Brent because that's his only son he has left.
I hope not, because I feel like I really wanted Brent to turn into be a good guy after this episode.
Same.
Like maybe it was an accident, and
Could be.
you know, Steve's
He
like,
did-
I can't let ruin his whole life because of this, and he's gonna cover it up.
He did
Theory.
slap Luke in the face and say, I'm gonna give your little side piece what she deserves, and then slapped him and walked away. So
that, but
Yeah.
here, okay, I want to admit that actually made me upset with Luke a little bit too. Obviously Brent as well, but like the
'cause he let
fact
him
that
pin it on her.
he let Isabella take the fall for that without any like. He seemed like he didn't even care. So
Yeah.
what happens from now? This is the girl you were dating. Like obviously maybe you didn't date long enough to like be in love with her or anything like that, but like to just allow her to take the blame for this and let someone say something so disgusting about her, like I don't know.
Yeah.
It bothered me because Luke just struck me as not that kind of guy.
And he struck me as honorable before
Mhm.
this episode.
But he obviously honest, and I think he is honorable. So I think he honestly, this is why I don't think Luke had anything to do with the filming of the tape, even by accident, like we talked about last
I
week.
agree.
Because he honestly believes that it was Brent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that he may not know that it's Brent. I may not believe it's Brent, but I think that he believed wholeheartedly that what happened was wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and that there's a possibility it could be Brent, but it could be
Yeah.
somebody else. And I think he just wanted to make sure that,
Yeah.
and that was the thing when he said, I wanted to make sure you got punished. And he's like, well, nothing happened to me. And then Luke looked
Mhm.
genuinely horrified that
Mhm.
nothing happened to him.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Steve being able to like blackmail that sheriff so easily,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know.
I was gonna say he mentioned Bonnie being behind on rent. Now, did he say that was his wife, or did I just put that in my head because he said it? I don't know.
He didn't say it, but I think we were led to assume it was.
Okay. Because he didn't say you all are behind on rent. He said Bonnie's behind. So maybe for like her office or
I was
like
going to say
whatever
maybe she had a business or something.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he has businesses, right?
Yeah.
Or like
I don't know.
he owns property.
Steve Chambers does, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he owns a bunch of property. Yeah.
So he's probably her landlord.
Probably.
Yeah, he said he was. He said that she was behind on a rent to him and they worked out a payment plan.
That's right. I remember
Yeah.
him saying that now.
And
Yeah.
he was able to convince, like, blackmail him with something that, with things that don't really seem like that big of a deal.
Well, I mean, so obviously I wonder, like, does the sheriff have like some gamble? Like, why does he not have money? Is there like gambling troubles? Is there like something that like,
Oh, yeah, maybe.
you know what I mean?
Because
There's
he
gotta
did say
be
after
more
he
to
lost
it.
a lot of money on a bet.
So I wonder if he's got a gambling problem.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't
Yeah.
mean to say that's a good thing. I meant that's a good theory.
Theory.
Please don't gamble.
I mean, it's a good thing if you're winning, I guess. Not if you're losing.
And even when he says what Steve says to Luke, when he says Brent never, he might be a dip bat,
Mhm.
but he never humiliated the family the way you did.
Mhm.
And that was the conversation that was like, oh my gosh, like the physicality. I don't agree with it. I get it, but it was the way he spoke to Luke that was it.
Mhm.
Like sent chills down my
Mhm.
spine. And he was because he was saying, I don't have to worry about you. You're solid. You wear your heart on your sleeve, just like your size 11 Converse. And how did he know a size 11 Converse brought in that box of tapes? Where did that come up somewhere?
I wanted to know that too. Like, I didn't understand that, I guess.
But it was enough that Luke was like, oh, I know what's going to happen now. So the other thing too that we found out in winter of 99 is that he is in my head as Freddie, and I need to find someone to
Jeff.
switch it, but I cannot. Jeff is the only other person other than now Debbie who knows it's Megan on that tape.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And how weird that he knew it just from her laugh.
Yeah, that's
dude,
stalker.
Like,
yeah, that was a
you're
little
kind of
creepy.
obsessed. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. There is something to this and how he ties into everything.
Yeah. But it's like, this is like, you're giving like so much here in episode 3 that I'm like, there has to be like, I don't know.
Maybe he came at Luke after the blackmail.
Maybe.
Because he looked at her and said, you chose the wrong guy. I would never do to you what he did to you. And he's clearly obsessed with Megan. He's in love with Megan still. He's saying that he did all these terrible things to you.
But here, okay, so
I don't think she would cover for him though, that far.
Unless, I don't know, something. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how he fits in.
I need to say this real quick. Because what you just said just made me think of something. You said, and I kind of didn't realize that Freddie said, like, what he did to you. What did Luke do to her?
Jeff said that.
Yeah, now you got me calling him Freddie. Oh my God, it's Jeff. Last week I think I was good. Okay, so Jeff. But like, Jeff knows that's Megan on. He knows that it is Megan on the tape. So what is he saying Luke did to her?
That's what I'm saying.
But he said he sees stuff because he's behind the camera. So does he have stuff on Luke? Is Luke not our good guy that we think he is?
I don't think he is.
Oh, that'll make me sad, I think.
I don't know. I don't think he's as innocent as we think he is, but I don't think he's like evil.
No. I don't think he's the villain of the story, but I don't think he's a decent guy.
Interesting.
But I also don't think
I don't know if he's like
guy,
a bad guy or just maybe messed up once, or I don't think he's like he was bad before Isabella came.
And I don't think that we should really take the word of Jeff. I struggled. Jeff. I had to think for like 5 minutes.
Jeff.
So we're all stare at pictures. Every time Maureen said Freddie in the last episode, I was talking about Jeff. I actually wrote in our notes, wasn't his name always Jeff?
I'm going to go stare at pictures of Freddie and say his name over and over again, and then stare at pictures of Jeff so that I can like.
I screwed everyone up.
It's okay. It's okay.
The other thing too that was a little unnerving to me was when Megan went in to have her food at the diner, and that I knew that there was something off with that girl when she's like, she asked the question. I mean, first of all, wholly personal. Second of all, this is a tragedy that has hit a town, and you're going to say, "Oh, you dated him, right?" Like,
yeah, I did not catch on to a reporter, and I was like, "Who is this?"
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't think reporter. Well, I did after a minute, but at first I was like, "What? What is happening?" Because she opened with, "I picked the wrong time to vacation here." Thinking she could get. Okay, but why did you show your hand that fast?
Why would you why would you say that even if you hadn't been sitting next to the girl that he had dated? Like, you're in a small town, it's likely that they knew him in some, but I know that's what she was doing, but like I just felt like an odd way to like lead into the like, you think she's going to do an interview with you when that's how you lead in? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
No,
she didn't commit to either way. Like, if she was going to go with the story of, "I picked the wrong time to vacation here," you can't know so much about her in the town.
Right.
And second of all, if you want to interview her, you can't start off with a blatant, bold-faced lie and trying to convince you're somebody else. So she did both of those things, and like, but
it was weird. And
then she looked so shocked when Megan dumped coffee in her food. Like,
I thought that was
fantastic.
That's
what she did. Of course, that's what she did. You kind of deserved it.
Yeah, so I loved that.
Yeah, there is something there, but I don't know if that's going to be like the. I guess, wasn't there something with one of the reporters in the first season? The people who first reported on her missing.
And I don't think there was anything with them. Well, there was like the interviews, like that they did, and like I don't think there was any big significance to it.
I just had it in my head.
No significance to it,
other than they just showed the clips of everybody. Because remember, Jeanette would watch them over and over again. So yeah.
So I think there's some. I don't think it's obviously this reporter. They didn't even know who she was until she came to the town. So. I don't think there's anything but there's some reason why they're bringing that up. Maybe she knows more than they think she does because they've been giving her information.
Yeah.
I don't know, something.
Or maybe that's just not going to be the last time we see her and they just needed to introduce her.
That's a good call. That's probably all it is, actually.
Speaking kind of like
I'm trying to make everything significant. Everything.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. Like, okay, so here's my one thing from like 2000 that I was like, what is this about? So when they're being questioned and they talk about Isabella's backpack being found at the cabin, like how did they know that it wasn't there prior to, like, how do you know that it was just put there? Like did you search the crawl space?
I don't think they suspected foul play at the cabin until after Luke came back, and then they were like, okay, he's been murdered, now we really need to dig. But it is weird that they wouldn't have checked the crawl space. Well,
and like, it's not to say, like, she obviously spent time at the cabin, so like even prior to his death. So how do you know that her backpack how do you know that she came back to the cabin after like that one? Like, how do you know when the backpack was put there? I don't know. It just seemed like a lot.
Maybe they knew when it was put there because A, the cabin had been cleaned, and B, maybe when Luke was found, they went back out and checked the cabin a second time to see if there was anything they missed, and then they found it. What if that's why Steve is trying to pin the murder on Isabella and Megan, because she found what he did with Luke, and she took the money that Steve got off of faking his death, and then that's why he's trying to pin it on them so he can get the money back. I don't know. I think
it's a far-fetched theory.
Nobody agrees with me, but that's the only thing I can come up with why she would have all that money.
Well, I think she easily could get it from her parents if she wanted to.
Her parents don't pay her any attention. They don't throw money at her. They throw money at her problems.
Yeah. Unless she's like blackmailed somebody. I mean, I wouldn't put it above her for blackmailing somebody. Like, I don't know.
I mean, we haven't seen Jeff. Jeez.
That could be the money that they gave Jeff to be quiet.
Did they give him money to be quiet? I thought it was a choose your own adventure, mutual destruction sort of thing.
But Jeff obviously had a bunch of extra money, so wonder if
that's so does Megan.
Yeah.
Maybe she took it from Megan because Megan is doing that thing where she's getting a bunch of money from coding.
It's just Megan's money. Maybe it's Megan's backpack somehow. Like,
maybe it's Isabella's backpack, but it might be Megan's money.
But it might have been Megan that put it there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, they're always together. She could have just grabbed Isabella's
Megan was the one who went up there to clean it before they found the body. So maybe she stuffed it there then.
Well, there's also the thought that if we are going off of, like, let's say Luke isn't dead, and he's like staging his death for some reason. How do we know it's not money that they pulled together for Luke and left it hidden at that cabin?
Ooh, I like that.
I don't know. I mean, I'm like grasping at all kinds of straws here.
I wonder how many people are, because like my head is solely down that train that Luke is alive and his death was either faked or his dad had something to do with it.
We need people to tell us.
Yes.
Let us know. Comment. Tell us your theories, because we would love to hear other people and what they're thinking on this.
Because I can't think of any other reason they wouldn't show us the body except to make us insane.
Yeah.
Which is, let's be honest, a possibility.
It's working. Yeah. Definitely working.
Although, did you guys notice too? Go ahead, Amanda. Say what you were going to say, because I was going to move on.
Well, I was going to say, like, maybe it was like his clothes and that's how he can identify him so fast. But also, I don't think the clothes would really be intact.
I don't think they would be.
Not if they're underwater for 6 months. They wouldn't be.
Yeah, I know.
It's just
that's all I was about to say. And I stopped myself.
Well, did you guys notice that Hulu now plays the preview right with it?
Yes.
I think that. Slow clap for Hulu. Thank you.
I was like, I know what's going to happen.
We don't have to go to YouTube and search for it now.
Well, they did show something like that after the first 2 episodes, and the preview on YouTube was different still. Ooh. So I thought, this is just what they're doing. And then I went to YouTube. Wait, didn't I just watch that?
Same.
So yeah, it's the exact same.
Well, in this preview, this was something where I'm trying to remember which one said it. Isabella said, like, he knows about our lie, and it was Megan that said which one.
That's how it went.
So I mean, that confirms that they're obviously like hiding something together. But how do we know it's not still about the videotape? It could. I mean, we could be like, we don't know that it's a new lie.
I think the videotape is one of them. But if she says which one, I think that they have had. I think it has to do with. Again, I think Luke is alive, and they're covering something there. I think there's the videotape. I think there's something that what I really want to know is what divided them so strongly. And I know last week we were on the Isabella's crazy trying to take her place.
I still think that's it.
Yeah, there's something that's weird there. Something very weird.
Isabella's mentally ill. I really do.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. But I don't know if she is well, here's the weird thing. I think she fully could have murdered Lisa, and I think she did murder Lisa, but I don't think she did it this time.
Lisa's her other person.
Yes.
Which I think is still out there as well.
I don't know, because Rebecca was referring to Lisa, didn't she? Or she just referred to
she just
summer.
said
what happened in St. Bart's. Maybe she had maybe she had a break, like some sort of psychotic break in St. Bart's.
That could be it. Yeah.
But if it was claiming diplomatic immunity and leaving, that's what they did. They claimed diplomatic immunity. You don't have to do that unless you commit a crime.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I think she murdered somebody.
How do you murder someone and get away with it? Can you really do that? Like with
diplomatic immunity, apparently. I don't know.
I don't know if that's I don't know.
That's the way they portray it in shows and movies. I don't know that's reality, but that is the way they portray it in shows and movies.
You can just get away with murder, but maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to try it and find out. So we'll just move on to that. I did notice
certainly since you don't have diplomatic immunity, but just throw all that out there.
Exactly.
Just start shouting it out when you get arrested. I get immunity.
Just wait a minute.
I'm not going to get arrested.
Just said, like, just start shouting it out when you do it.
Like you get arrested.
Jeanette just gets arrested so often that just start saying it next time.
Never once. I don't intend on ever getting arrested. Okay, so the preview though, like there has to be, I think we're going to get a lot more answers about Jeff, because even though we didn't see Jeff, we saw video footage, which I can only assume is from Jeff's, like it looked like his camera, like video footage. So
yeah,
we'll see.
How much did that fast forwarding that tape bring you back, by the way?
Yeah, I know. Good old days.
I was almost triggered by that.
This down.
Can you imagine?
And of course, there's Isabella saying, "What do I need to do to prove my loyalty to you? Do I need to kill for you?
Kill for you?" That was so creepy.
Yeah. Or maybe, maybe she killed for Lisa. Ooh. Maybe it was somebody who was bothering Lisa, and she killed for Lisa, and then Lisa turned on her for it, and then she had to leave. Maybe she is mentally ill, but in like a stalker obsession, mentally ill, not a multiple personality. And maybe Lisa used that to her advantage and got her to kill for her.
Maybe.
Or maybe she thought she was killing for Lisa, but she really wasn't. Like maybe it was like Lisa's boyfriend and she got jealous and was like, he's bad, I'm going to kill him for you.
Maybe. Yeah. And then Lisa's like, whoa, you're too scary for me.
So we're making Isabella like Joe Goldberg over here, basically.
Pretty much.
That's what's in my head for sure.
Is that what Joe Goldberg does?
Oh, he kills people for the people he's in love with all the time.
He always,
I didn't know. I always says he killed.
He did it. No, he always said no.
It's out of love. It's always out of love.
Always out of love or convenience. He does it for somebody else. It's a mind.
Some of them deserve it. Some of them don't deserve it.
There's sometimes where you're like,
well, like no, there was a guy that was abusing like this woman that lived in this building, and like
I kind of want to watch it.
Maureen, really I think you would actually like it. Just fast forward through like the naughty scenes, and you'll be fine.
Oh, there's naughty scenes in there.
There's not a lot until season 4, maybe. I don't know.
Because I've seen clips, and in every clip where he's doing a monologue, I laugh so hard every time I see them.
It's a fan. I will actually watch it with you just to watch.
I will watch it again. I'll watch it again.
I love it. I can't get enough of Joe.
I
can't either, but like I've never seen the show, so I just watch clips on YouTube.
We'll all watch it together. It'll be fun.
I do like when he goes on talk shows and he's like,
chat.
I bet. I like when he goes on to the talk shows. He's like, girls, no, you don't want me to choke you. You don't like that. You don't like that.
They might though. Like,
Joe.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
All right, let's dig into. I think we've talked a lot, and we have shared a lot of our theories. But is there any theories that you can think of that we haven't discussed yet that you have currently for some of the characters?
Okay, so
let's not really do like a refresher.
I said mine throughout. I don't.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've said most of mine. Like the only thing that, like some of my theories from last week just altered just a touch. Like, I mean, I don't know that the crazy neighbor, like I still think he's involved somehow.
I think that was a red herring.
They had mentioned him again,
but I don't.
This episode.
Yeah, and it might be even just a smaller role as the crazy neighbor knows what happened and is like, it might be something small like that. But he's involved in this, I think.
I don't think in a nefarious way anymore, though.
No, I think maybe more like helping Megan, like covering up for her and like, whatever. I had one thought that was like, all that blood if it really just grazed his ear, why was there, that blood can't be from that. That was too much blood.
Yeah, unless he was just laying there like
this
for a long time.
I mean, like, no, that's not. And that would be like, honestly, it seems weird.
Even if it grazed the knee, which we were originally thinking, that's still a lot of blood for that.
Still a lot of blood.
Unless it like grazed something and like somehow hit an artery. That's the only way that it would. I don't know.
If it grazed the ear, it would just nick the outside, though.
Yeah.
If you're saying it grazed the ear, it didn't penetrate anything.
That's what I'm saying. That's what.
Okay, and also, now that I'm just thinking about it, his body could not have been in that water for 6 months and then still been able to see that there was a graze of a bullet on his ear. I don't mean to get gross.
Or his knee.
Or his knee.
There wouldn't be an ear there anymore.
I know. So I'm saying.
Yeah, there's something.
Let's get gross here, but like, it seriously, there something I don't think we have even a fourth of the story yet.
So if it is Luke, he did not die 6 months ago. If it is Luke, it was a recent death, which is probably why they found him, or because he was floating.
At the very least, which I still think the body would have decomposed some, at the very least, he has not been in the water for 6 months. So he would have had to have died in
maybe a deep
way.
Freeze. I mean, because if they froze.
That's true. That's true. Why do we know this, Amanda? But like, that's true.
That freezing the body never even for 1 second entered my mind.
I mean, because nobody's been up to that cabin. They could have had a deep freeze in the cabin.
He was in that's why when she cleaned up the blood, maybe like something happened. Like, I don't know. Maybe the blood just, I don't know.
The only thing that they said was the grazing
of it. Could she have cleaned up the blood and then dumped his body? And then they found it the next day?
I don't think Megan could have dumped the body by herself.
Well, maybe with Isabella.
Or the crazy gun guy.
Or the neighbor.
I don't think Megan is the one I think Megan thinks she's the one.
Maybe that wasn't even his blood. Maybe because something happened when they were trying to dispose of the body that someone else's blood got spilled, which is why it had to be cleaned up then.
Could be.
I don't think that I think she thinks she's responsible, but she's actually not.
I don't know.
Because I do think you're right. I think it could, because even if that was the body, like there's somebody else was shot.
No, wait, guys, that doesn't work because she went and cleaned it after they said they found a body.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right.
I thought you said she cleaned it before they found the body. Oh no, they said they found the body.
They found the body.
Yeah.
Before we saw the body.
Yeah, it was before they. Yeah. We didn't see the body. We did not see the body
because they remember the body was on the boat, so it's not like it washed up. They put it on the boat first and then had to drive it up.
Yeah,
so it had to be off the boat. So it was. I guess it took a little bit.
Dang, I don't know. Okay.
So I'm wondering, A, if he was floating, it was very recent, because if he was that decomposed, he would be at the bottom.
Exactly.
Or B, they drugged the river or the lake, whatever it was, the body water. Why would they be dragging the river then after 6 months?
6 months, yeah.
What indicated that they should go do that? So there's no way he was in there for 6 months. There's no way. There is no way. In my opinion.
No, I agree. I like the idea that he's been in a deep freeze at the cabin and that they just dumped his body. I'm sticking with that.
It's somebody else's blood that she cleaned up, probably thinking it was Lucas's blood, thinking that she and or Isabella would be implicated, but it cannot possibly. If that body is Lucas, it cannot be
she's
his
calling
blood.
him Lucas now. Like, this got formal.
Luke.
And
Ooh,
we're calling him by his full name, Lucas.
So if that is Luke's blood, he's not the body they found.
Exactly.
Bum, bum, bum.
Interesting. I have no idea what's going on.
I keep wanting to. I've talked myself in circles on this, that I'm confused of what's reality and what just came out of my head.
Nope, we just need to end it now. We got to stop.
I'm more confused about this season than I even was last season. I have no idea. No idea.
That's because we knew that she was taken, but in this season, like, we don't know if he's dead or not. We don't know. Like, we have no idea.
We don't know.
Everyone else may believe he's dead, but I don't
saw
believe
her during, kind of.
Yes.
So we knew she was okay.
Yeah, because we saw her after the kidnapping.
Yeah.
And then we saw her before the kidnapping. So we knew she was alive.
We figured stuff out. Like, we knew that she wasn't held captive the whole time. Like, we had figured out all kinds of stuff by now. We haven't figured out anything. I doubt. Maybe we have. but
I'm wondering too, the only other thought I had that I want to mention is that, do you remember when Luke, no, I just want to call him Lucas. Do you remember when Luke went into the bar or wherever Megan worked and then he kissed her and she got so mad at him for kissing her, so mad at him for showing up for her, so mad at all that. Isabella sat back there watching. Do you think that actually spurred Luke and Isabella to get back together behind Megan's back because everyone already thinks that he needs someone to talk to and his dad is going crazy at him and Isabella bent a listening ear. So when he went back to Isabella, maybe then Megan turned to Jeff. In my defense, I wrote Freddie in parentheses, and that's what I looked at first.
We're just gonna call him Fred Jeff from now on.
For Jeff.
And maybe that is why Megan might be covering for Jeff because Jeff went out there to defend her after she found out. I don't know, something. There was something weird. I know, but there's a lot going on in my head right now.
I know. I'm trying to follow. I'm trying.
I'm only saying like a portion of what's in my head right now, the small, tiny portion. But there is something to that scene when Luke was there and kissed her and she got mad at him and told him to leave. And Isabella sat there quietly the whole time watching. And she was even watching with her eyes squinted a little bit like she was thinking while she was watching.
Mm-hmm. I saw that too.
So there's something there. And this plays into, I don't think Lucas is as Luke.
Lucas. He is now Lucas.
I don't think he's as innocent or decent as we think. Partly because of that scene.
Unless he because maybe he also gets mad at Megan for the fact that he feels like she's like more concerned about Isabella than like fixing their relationship.
Or even herself, more concerned about herself.
And maybe he does something I don't know, to make Isabella mad. I don't know. We know he's not above like going and trying to tell people stuff when he thinks he's doing the right thing. Yeah. So and maybe he'll rat people out.
Do you think those pills that Megan was taking is going to come back somehow?
Yes.
It's got to.
Yeah. Maybe those were her pills that she took for her mental illness. And
Megan said she takes them. Megan admitted to taking them to stay focused so she can be good in school.
Oh yeah.
But I think you're talking about the pills that Isabella dumped. Those could have been her antipsychotics, although they didn't look like antipsychotics either. But they don't look. They looked like antibiotics. Is what
you say they looked good?
No, she said.
No, I said they could. No.
Delicious.
What kind of podcast is a murderer. I'm a drug addict.
I have diplomatic immunity. Okay.
Jeanette, you take blame.
Can't do it.
So now you have to give your hang up. We were going to make t-shirts that said what our hang up is, and now we need to make t-shirts for our online store saying I have diplomatic immunity. Drugs look good.
We do need to make merch.
We really do.
Just saying.
All right, so I think that what I need to do is if I ever have a spare 5 hours, because that's how long it will take me to write out everything that's in my head, but I need to write it down because I need to see how it's changing every week and then cancel out what I've already thought and what I now think. So I'm not saying everything every week.
Yeah.
But if we thoroughly confused you today, we have done our job.
We're confused as well. So
you're welcome. Order our thoughts for us, please. So if you got to this point, restart the episode and then take notes for us. That would be super helpful.
Thank you.
I would appreciate that. So go ahead, let us know what you think. We want to know what your theories are, because I think this podcast is actually when we very first started our podcast 2 years ago. Can you believe it's done 2 years?
Oh, really?
No. 2 years ago.
Wow.
We started with a Cruel Summer episode. And the reason we weren't going to start with Cruel Summer, but we were so excited to talk about it. They were like, let's just get it out now. Let's just do one now. So we dropped a surprise episode for our very first episode of Cruel Summer. And this show, it really lends itself to bringing community together and talking about it and everyone getting hyped up and figuring out theories and talking about. So we want to hear from you. We want to know what your theories are. And on that same note, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also subscribe and rate us on the podcast platforms that you listen to us to, because the more you do, the more credible our podcast becomes, the more listeners we have, we can get some interviews for you. And wouldn't it be great to talk to some of these people and get them on there? Because actually we interviewed quite a few people from the Cruel Summer cast season 1. They were our favorite interviews.
Oh, absolutely.
Great people. So Don't forget to do that. Check out our Facebook page. It's Cruel Summer Family Fan Club. Every Fridays. I'm sorry, last Friday I did not get you the recap. I forgot that we weren't doing Sundays anymore. So
Shame.
I was like, I have until Sunday to get it out. So every Friday is Cruel Summer. Wednesdays are Netflix. We are bringing what are we bringing next? Shoot, I should have started that over.
Y'all are doing romantic comedies, I think.
Yeah, but I think I announced that last week because this is going to come out. This is coming out this Friday.
Well,
No,
see,
Teen Flicks was last week. Teen Flicks was last week. So this Wednesday we are bringing you romantic comedies, and it looks like they're all going to be movies so far, which is fine because I mean most rom-coms are movies. You can't really find a rom-com in a show necessarily, except for like XO Kitty. But that's coming at you Wednesday. Check out our Facebook group. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you just a few short days. Do not forget that I found out the time. It's 10/9 Central is when this airs. Cruel Summer airs on Freeform, 10/9 Central, or Hulu the next day. So on that note, we'll see you in a couple days. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.